Warning! The following podcast contains strong language which some listeners may find offensive. If you do,
up yours! That's only if you don't listen to the podcast. Otherwise, not up yours.
did you know the Untitled Wrestling Podcast is on all of the social media outlets? Give us a like, follow, share, subscribe, or even a review if you're feeling generous. Facebook and YouTube at Untitled Wrestling Podcast, Twitter, Twitch and Discord at Untitled Rest Pod.
Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of the Untitled Wrestling Podcast. It is Tuesday, you know what that means. It's me, your boy Big Tasty, joined as always by Faye and Jay, and also a very special guest this week from the Dammit Vince Podcast and several other podcasts. Joe, how's it going, Joe?
Fine. I always like to refer to as special.
It's what they taught you in school, isn't it? So.
My mum had me tested.
So Joe's here primarily because we're going to be talking initially about the TNT GCW Weekender, which took place a few days ago in Liverpool. Joe graciously made the long trip down the M62 to come and see us down the East Lancs. So Joe, first of all, talk broadly, how was your Liverpool weekend experience overall?
The wrestling part of it was fine. The people I chose to stay with, not so much.
I mean, you can tell a lot about a man by the company he keeps, can't you?
Thankfully they weren't there for a lot of it. They were off causing mayhem around Liverpool. I've also watched a lot of Still Game this weekend.
Fair.
In my downtime, yeah. But no, the wrestling it's a very long weekend.
Yeah. We only did 3 out of the 5 shows.
I was going to say, if anyone did all 5 of the shows, God bless you, because my back was killing by the end of it. I am an old man, though.
Well, I had to bow out on the Sunday one because I was just that fucked.
Yeah, it's a lot of wrestling to take in.
I came close, and I am so glad I didn't.
Oh man, I was that bad that once I found out what had happened on the Sunday show, I still even said then, I was like, I wouldn't have had a good time, because I was in so much pain, from just constantly standing up.
Yeah, my knees were not in a good place yesterday morning.
And I had no break on Saturday as well, because I went from one TNT show to the other one.
Oh, yeah.
I had the Ignition one from 2 till 4, and then I had to go home, drop Matthew off, and go right back out.
Yeah, which is just I mean, apart from Faye first, how was your whole weekend sort of experience apart from the pain?
It was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna say I don't think it was as good as last year's.
I've got. Yeah, we'll talk about. I'll talk about that in a little bit. I want to sort of do. We'll do comparisons. I think a little bit later. But yeah, I'm kind of.
Okay.
I am with you there, definitely. But I've got not theories, but yeah. Jay, as someone who probably sampled the most of the nightlife over the weekend, how did you find the entire proceeding?
Yes. Yeah, I am.
There are videos circulating of Jay doing various songs in karaoke, which I will threaten to post if he doesn't behave.
That's fine. It was drunk me. It doesn't count.
Different pairs.
I have no memory of those things happening. No, I really enjoyed it. I'm actually kind of disagree with you guys. I thought last year's was great, and I thought this year's was just as good. Because we got a lot of different people that we didn't get last year.
So I did look over this. The only people we didn't get this year that we did get last year, we didn't get Cole Radrick, we didn't get John Wayne Murdoch, we didn't get Matt Cardona, and we didn't get MLJ doing the announcement. And I think they're the only people we didn't get, but we did get a lot extra.
Yeah, and I think as well, the only person I would have liked to have seen out of that, and this is going to sound really spoiled because everyone except Joe, who goes quite frequently to TNT shows. We've had Cole Radrick since we were meant to get John Wayne Murdoch, and we probably will get him again at some point.
Yeah.
And Cardona is the only person really there I mean, MLJ I missed because
sorry, we also.
I would have liked MLJ.
I missed Emil a lot. I thought Emil made
Yeah.
part of the fact that he was really nice to me and said very nice things about my brewery, but also he was I think he really made the GCW feel like a bit
Like
more
Jesus
special.
Boom.
Yeah.
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 Also, we didn't get Alice Cologne, but he doesn't exist anymore, so that's
Oh,
understandable.
don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Cole Radrick's dead as well, so
We got Rena instead of Alex, though, and I'm okay with
but
that.
then when you look at what we did get, like Los Vipers, like Arez, Gringo Loco, Los Macizos,
I was going to start with
Masha, Rena, Starboy Charlie. I mean, on paper, the actual roster was much better this year. Overall.
Also, some of the like TNT people that were actually on this card this year as well, like Lycos Jim, mate. I thought they had a fantastic weekend.
Yeah.
Act 2.
Act 2. We got Leon Slater, who we didn't get last year.
We did.
We did get Leon Slater last year.
We did in one match.
You know, he wrestled every night. He jumped over the he was in the four-way with Deppen and he jumped over the ring and nearly landed on Aaron.
It's all blaring.
Obviously, we didn't get Nick Wayne because he's retired.
Did we get
so
Crowley?
retires.
I don't think we got Crowley last year, no, because Dan.
No.
So, I mean, last year, I remember. I mean, I think I was just a lot drunker last year, so I think I sort of remember it a lot more fondly because I was a lot rowdier, especially the first night when I remember like when Derice and Cardona was happening. I remember several of us were absolutely feral by that point.
Yeah.
But should we just run through the shows real brief? Just sort of talk our way through them. Like, we don't have to be get into any sort of real.
If you need me to run through them,
I've got the cards here. I've got them. I'm prepared, mate. I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
I was in case you weren't.
So we started out with Lycos Jim versus Los Vipers. That's Arez and Latigo. What a match to start with. I'd never really paid much attention to Arez or Latigo, but fuck me, they're both really good, aren't they?
I love Arez so much. Like, yeah, I want to see him again.
He blew me away this weekend.
I will like Lucha Libre had a great showing this weekend.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, just absolutely silly boys doing silly things.
Shout out to Kid Lycos 2 as well, who said he wanted to boop Arez's weird eyeball on his hand, and he did.
Do that. Kid Lycos 2 did also get like murdered by Latigo at one point.
So there was a trend in this first show of large men just running directly towards me and diving through the ropes and landing very close in front of me. And Latigo was the first guy to come like barreling towards me. And I think it was me and you, Jay, were quite close to where that happened. And that was terrifying. Yeah. But this
entire thing was that entire first night for me, I felt like I was going to die, like for most of it.
Yeah. So yeah, really, really fun match. Like you say, really, really good really good complementary styles. These two, Lycos Jim can fucking go. They're really good flippy boys. And
I think like Jim are probably next TNT tag champs.
They made a really good case
Someone
for this
needs
weekend,
to be.
didn't they? I mean, was it you, Faye, who asked me like legitimately where are the tag team titles? And I was like, oh yeah, they're in fucking the NWA. They're in NFT now. Don't worry about it.
Vampiro's got his hands on them.
Oh god, not Vampiro. He's the better one.
He is the better one.
Next up, then we had a TNT Women's Title match: Alexis Falcon versus Masha Slamovich. I was so excited to see Masha, and she did not disappoint. She was phenomenal.
My heart.
Yeah, you were not okay during this match. You and Nat were having a.
I was not.
You were having an episode.
A normal one. Oh wow.
But no, it was really fun to see. I mean, Alexis I think we take her for granted, don't we? Because she's like been like the forever champion for like 600 days, but she is really good.
Alexis can go. I think our problem is that because we've seen her pretty much tear through the women's division, we forget she can go sometimes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then when she's putting a match like this against like an international talent, it's like, okay, Alexis can fucking like hit this out the park this time, and she does.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always a bit of fuckery from Crowley, which sometimes spoils it a little bit, but you know, you can understand when they do it.
I said to Joe, I'm gutted we didn't get Crowley versus Masha announced because
I mean,
that would have been good.
If they could have found a way to do like Alexis and Crowley versus Masha and Akira, that would have been.
Don't. I wouldn't have been able to function. Don't speak that out unless you're gonna make it happen.
But no, I mean, there's a couple of moments where you thought Masha was going to win, and I'm like, oh my god, if they'll give La Rebellion the tag titles, they might just give Masha like ranked 5th, just coming fresh off 15 ranked PWI top,
above Bryan Danielson.
Yeah. They might just put the belt on Masha. That would have been a thing, but no. Alexis won. Next up, then we had Dan Maloney versus probably my MVP of the entire weekend, Gringo Loco.
Yeah.
I loved this match.
My new best friend, Gringo Loco.
I spoke to him once and then had to be peeled off the floor. Yeah, he's such a lovely
he's so
man.
Nice and he's so cool and he's so good.
They all were. That was the thing. There was not a single person who was a knobhead.
No. So that's so obviously, Joe, you've not been to you went out these shows last year. The great thing about this is like you don't even have to pay. Like you can pay to get in a bit early and sort of like hang out and sort of just stay around. But after the show, you can just hang out for like half an hour and just chat to everyone and get pictures. Like everyone was doing pictures. The first night we got a picture, me and Jay with Las Wasillas and Stiegler just grabbing a handful of my beard.
It was me, wasn't it?
Sorry, it was me, streamer. Yeah, my mistake. They both got short hair now, so I get them mixed up.
Like you was trying to like in your head like a Pez dispenser.
It was ridiculous. It was really good fun. But and then everyone was just hanging out and chatting, and everyone, like you said, Joe said, everyone was just super, super nice. You could buy merch if you wanted, but like anyone wanted a picture could have a picture, unless you're Aaron, because Aaron had to pay.
Justified.
Yeah. But this match was incredible. Obviously, Dan Maloney's had a bit of a year, hasn't he? He's been doing all right.
I think it's onwards and upwards for Dan Maloney anyway. Like as we've been saying for the last like 2 years about Dan Maloney.
I mean, how cool was it though seeing him come out with his IWGP Tag Team Championship?
Yeah.
So fucking cool.
And Gringo's just unreal, isn't he? Like he's one of those people. Oh fucking hell, this guy can go. But when you actually see him in pair, you can tell he's like a really special talent.
Well, I took one of my work friends, the one who came with us to 1PW.
Yes.
With his son. I brought them with me on the Saturday, and he turned around to me and was like, he'd never been to a death match, never seen to a DCW show, never been to a TNT show. So like that was all new for him. And he was like, Gringo Loco should not be able to move that way.
Yep.
And he absolutely he just smashes it.
And this wasn't even his best performance of the weekend, and it was still phenomenal.
The thing is, Gringo Loco as well. Like I only found this out when he was on Ring of Honor. Apparently, he had like open heart surgery or something. He had like a heart attack a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my god.
From that as well to be that fucking good. Right, it's awesome.
The man's just a wizard. Yeah, it's insane.
Genetic freak.
Absolute genetic freak. Next up, then, we had the GCW Ultra Violent title defended in a death match. Rina Yamashita.
This was my favourite match.
Joe, am I correct? Was this your first in-person death match?
No. I was at that TNT all day, and there was some death matches there.
You went to the Extreme one, didn't you? Extreme
yes,
Fields.
They weren't real ones.
Not compared to this level of just horrific violence, no. Some of which I think is banned under the Geneva Convention.
Yeah, because Rina's really good, isn't she?
Rina is tremendous, and yet
I love her
so lovely.
Much.
Yeah.
Like just outside, and I was like, that was tremendous. She was like, just nodded and sort of walked off, like kind of ashamed, and I was like, no, come back.
So like her. So Rina, Sheik, Joey Janela, and Jimmy Lloyd have stayed in Liverpool before they've gone to Germany. So they're just hanging around town, going to like shisha bars and like Nando's.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, I love that. Like
Nando's.
So
Joey Janela's been to Nando's at least 3 times since Friday. He's a fucking
He's living
menace.
his best wrestle life, clearly.
Is Nando's the UK Ribera? Like that's what I want to know.
Yeah.
It should be.
Although there is, I can't remember what wrestler it is, but they want to make Toby Carvery jackets like Ribera ones, and I just think that would be very funny.
They need to do it with Nando's and like a hat or something, like a really horrible hat.
That would be good.
It was Millie McKenzie who said that, but I could be wrong.
Was it?
I think so. That sounds about right, actually. Yeah.
So this match,
Carvery's horrible.
so this match with Emerson Jane as well, like someone who's been sort of getting themselves really into the deathmatch scene over the last sort of 12 months or so.
Yeah.
Mostly through TNT, I think.
She was very good.
But
Well, I've only ever seen her in 2 death matches. Like the one against Joey Janela, and then this one.
So she was in Siren's Fury, wasn't she? Was it Siren's Fury? Or no, what was the total? Was it Total Carnage?
Was she in Total Carnage?
I'm pretty sure she was. She was in one of the women's tournaments, and I'm pretty sure she was in the hardcore one, or the sort of deathmatch one.
Oh, okay.
But it wasn't quite as like extreme as like this.
I must have just trauma blocked that out my head from what happened with Casey. It's fine.
So for about 24 hours, this probably set the record for most glass I've ever seen in a deathmatch.
I said the first light tube that got broken hit me in the eye. Straight out the gate, I was like, "There's one, great."
Just got to get out the way, mate. Got to pop that cherry. Once you've been hit by your first piece of glass, it's all from there.
Rest of the weekend, I was just letting it bounce off me, but that first one took me by surprise. Yeah.
What's funny is that Aaron will go in Aaron's drink, and Aaron will just continue drinking his beer with glass in it.
I mean, when we got back to the flat, he had just a piece of light tube in his pocket that he forgot he picked up and then cut his hand.
Nat had saved it for him and was like, "Here, it's got blood on it."
Yeah,
and he was made up.
So what always fucks me up in these matches is when someone hit with a light tube, your natural reaction is to go ooh, and then like it's only when a piece of glass pings off your cheek right next to your open mouth, you're like, "Oh, I probably shouldn't be doing that." So yeah, this was weirdly it was an incredible match. It was so much fun, but this was weirdly like the tamest death match of the weekend. But that doesn't I'm doing it a disservice by calling it that because it was still like fucking murder. It was excellent.
Again, it was a really good amuse bouche to the main death.
If that amuse bouche was also a steak. Like
oh yeah totally.
They just gave you like a starter steak to have with your steak.
It's like, I would like a burger, please, and for my starter I would like another burger.
Yeah, that's what it was like. Emerson Jane looked like she'd like lost half of her face by the end of the match.
I mean, in this match, Rena got a cut on the side of her nose that was like so bad it was there for like the entire weekend. Like she had like the cut, you could see it. I mean, it wasn't the worst cut we saw all weekend, but Jesus, we'll get to that. Next up, then, we had Crowley versus Jordan Oliver for the TNT World Title. This was one of the only matches I thought that was a bit of a clunker.
Mm-hmm.
Not because of what was happening with the guys or anything like that. I thought they both brought it. I just thought this was really oddly placed, and it was really oddly. I feel like it was just kind of there. I don't know. I don't think it was particularly well put on the card or anything like that.
So you like the death match happening where it happened? Kind of like,
it was very early on, wasn't it?
Yeah, it kind of sucked the air out the crowd a little bit.
I mean, I kind of get what they have to do. Obviously, they have to like put the death matches before the intervals so they can like clean all the glass out of the ring and obviously stuff like that.
It did not help because during Project X, it was all on the floor.
There was still a lot of glass on the floor. I know a lot of people just on the floor. Yeah. But yeah, this match was a bit. It sort of ended a bit abruptly. It was only 6 minutes long. I don't think Jordan Oliver really got to sort of show what he could do. I don't think it really played to his strengths. But
for about Crowley being a menace, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, and it did set up something that happened later on with Jordan, which I think is going to set up for some stuff that's going to happen like sort of next year. Because there's a couple of curiously they didn't announce next year's event like they did last year. So I think they might shake up the format a bit next year, and we might see some other bits and bobs, but we'll get into that. Next up, then we had Bussy, obviously Ali catching Effie. I was saying to Sarah yesterday, I think I heard WAP more times over this weekend than I have in my entire adult life.
Yes.
I do like the version they do though. So they do WAP, but they put like the sort of backing vocals from Goodbye Yellow Brick Road into the background of it, which is really nice.
I need it. It's not anywhere though. This is the problem.
It's really coolly done, and it sounds really good live. And it makes up for the fact that we didn't get to see any Effie singles matches with any Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, which made me a bit sad because that's like my favorite entrance in wrestling. It was my favorite thing about last year. It was just Effie being like a big deal. I mean, Effie's an actual legitimate big deal now. He's fucking hench.
Oh my god, that's what happens when like you don't smoke weed. Evidently,
I mean, I'm not saying marijuana's bad, kids, but like fucking look at how like strong Effie is now. He's like a certified.
After like a couple of months.
He's a certified zaddy.
Yeah.
Effie's almost a bear.
Yeah, he's approaching. He's quite a paro, but yeah, it's he's getting there. But no, he looks fantastic. He's cut to fuck. He looks amazing. And yeah, he was moving really well. Bussy, I know, Joe, you're not the biggest Bussy fan.
It's like the last 5 minutes where the actual wrestling happens is great. It's all the silly nonsense beforehand. Once you've seen it once, you've kind of seen it all for me. It's always the similar sort of thing, and that's fine. Like, I get it, but
it's just cross.
They can all wrestle. Right? Oh, I know, and you needed something to lighten the mood after what we'd seen previously. It's just, I don't mind Bussy. It's just the fact is that you can all wrestle. Can't we all just do a wrestle?
I know what you mean.
No.
It was this. I can kind of see where you're coming from, but because there is a lot of like sort of just standing around talking and like pointing at people's crotches and imitating that you want to put your mouth on various parts of other people's bodies and sort of stuff like that. And yeah, I can see where you're going from. Yeah,
I'm not being a prude or anything. It's fine. But also, like,
Wrestle prude Joe.
3 nights in a row of the same shtick. It was a bit like, okay.
Again,
I guess I'll sit through this.
I think from a booking point of view, they missed a trick by having Bussy wrestle as a tag team all 3 nights and not having any alley catch or Effie singles matches, which I would have really enjoyed.
Because even the Thrusty match, I was like, this is better.
On Siren's Fury.
Ali did wrestle on Siren's Fury, yeah.
But no room for Daddy. If you'd have given me like 1 night Bussy, 1 night Thrusty, 1 night Ali and Effie having a singles match each.
Yeah.
Or you can mix it up, have like Ali and Masha versus Scouse and Brad, maybe, or I don't know, just play around with it a bit. You've got all these. It's a bit of a free hit this weekend. There's all like, it's like dream matches, and just throw it all up in the air and see where it comes down.
Well, like the thing is that like it would have been, you could have even, I would have liked to have seen like a triple threat. Like you could have done a different tag team against Scouse and Proud over the weekend, like Rena and Masha Wright. Have that split of what happened in the first night. Then second night, have Ali, Lizzie, and Harley in a triple threat because they both faced Ali.
And well, especially given what happened at the end of this match.
Exactly. That's how I would have done it.
Faye, are you okay?
Like looking back on it. No, I don't want to talk about it.
So
I cried.
Not only did Scouse and Proud lose, but Harley and Lizzie had words, and Harley walked out.
Yeah.
This is fine.
It's not fine, Jay. It's
Scouse
not
and Proud
fine.
are fine. Right then, we'll move on to the main event. Our main event was a Ultimate X match. Well, it says Ultimate X match. It was Project X. Basically, it's Ultimate X. It's scaffolding. It said ropes, but they looked a lot like seatbelts.
They looked like, safety harnesses.
Yeah.
With the belt. So this was meant to be for the number 1 contendership for the Ultimate X Championship. However, at the start of the show, Nico Angelo came out, and because of an injury he picked up, he had to vacate the title. Yeah, but he basically he swapped it out. Basically, he gave the belt in, and he took the number 1 contenders like symbol. So he said that he's going to come back for a shot at whoever wins. So this was Man Like DeReiss, Leon Slater, Robbie X, Scotty Rourke, and Starboy Charlie. I mean, that's a who's who of anyone who can do the flippy shit right there, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we got to see that Robbie X is a real person and not a figment of our collective imaginations.
Actual human Robbie X.
Doubt it.
When I actually looked at him, my vision went really grainy, like 1960s camera footage.
Yeah, I took some pictures
like
of
the glitch in VHS.
I took some pictures of them, but none of them developed, even though they were all digital. I don't quite know how that happened.
It's like the same as take a picture of murder chair.
Yeah, this match was just hilarious, wasn't it? It was just so much flippy nonsense. A lot of Leon and DeReiss working together until they didn't, which was kind of fun.
I love that.
Well, there was that bit, wasn't there, at the end where like Leon had it and then DeReiss pulled him down, threw him out and won. Yeah.
Well, earlier on, like DeReiss had them
like
ready
straight away.
They were going to go for the street sweeper, whatever their street sweeper move is called, with like the blockbuster powerbomb. But instead of doing the neck breaker, Leon just jumped over the guys and like jumped onto the ropes. And DeReiss had to like fucking throw the other guy off and like pull him down.
Yeah, another TNT show where it ends with Leon looking sad and me feeling like shit about it.
Yeah, he's just not allowed to have a good time, is he? That's like in his contract.
Yeah, ruining my life. Just let Leon be happy once.
Yeah, and this was our first look this weekend of Starboy Charlie as well. Someone we'd see a lot of over the weekend. Joe, you in particular.
Not enough of.
No, you want to see all of Starboy Charlie, obviously.
Yeah, but not in his regular street clothes because that somehow takes the mystique away somewhat.
No, put the overalls
In
on.
dungarees only.
Yeah, basically. I mean, yeah, I think I said to him, it's the really weird thing of seeing people that I've only seen at 2 a.m. in the morning, like slightly
like a
half
fever
cut
dream?
in real life, and like being able to, you're actually here, sort of stuff. And
how are you to watch it in like real time again next week?
Well, yeah,
it's only an hour behind us, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. That's also an interesting thing because it's in Germany as well. But yeah, I mean, I would have given Starboy Charlie Project X and every other belt.
Yeah, just have them come back every week, every month to defend.
Yeah.
I mean, this was probably the match of the night for me. It was like I love my X Division flippy stuff, so this was playing to my sort of proclivities, and it was certainly playing to Joe's proclivities.
There was a lot of Starboy Charlie was the only GCW guy in the match, but then I suppose you could argue that they're recently on a more GCW like leaner at times this year, but it was a really great showcase of like guys who kind of like the sort of foundations of TNT, like Scotty Rourke, Robbie Exit, Leon Slater, were all kind of mainstays in TNT.
I mean, Robbie X.
I'm delighted at the fact that like on like Fight Plus, you'll have people who have never seen Robbie X before wrestle.
Yeah.
If he shows up on camera.
If you can see him. But no, he is like legit. Robbie X is legitimately one of the best cruiserweight wrestlers. I mean, he calls himself the king of the cruiserweights, and he's not lying. Like,
he was doing ludicrous nonsense. Yeah.
I know 1PW have kind of gone to shit now, but he had a match with Will Ospreay earlier this year at a 1PW show, and it's legitimately one of the best matches I've ever seen live.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's probably going to be in next year's Best of the Super Juniors. If he isn't,
that'd be so good.
Shout at Gado again, like I did when I went to Red Pro.
Just will it into existence. And then you've got Scotty Rourke as well.
Has got a match with Titan.
Noted bat agitator, Scotty Rourke.
Yeah.
I didn't even bring him any Rice Krispie Squares.
Maybe he'd have won if you'd have given him those Rice Krispie Squares.
Did tell me I had plenty already. I asked him.
Okay. Right. Oh, and Dries won, as Jay sort of mentioned before. He sort of threw out Leon Slater.
Fucked Leon.
Yeah, fuck Leon Slater, and then took the title for himself, which is great because I've been waiting for Dries to win a belt in TNT forever.
I remember our first Ignition show we went to, me and you talking to Dries after the show, Tasty, and him saying, "Got my eye on that Ultra X belt. I think that'll be mine at some point."
Yeah,
wow.
He's literally, that was like 18 months ago. He's been chasing it since.
Yeah.
So it was very, very rewarding to see Dries win the belt.
I would have gone for war.
Sure.
I would have gone to war for him against fucking Cardona last year, I think.
Yeah.
I think everyone would have, like, oh my God. Cardona did not have a good time.
That's why he didn't come back. Deppen got hella booed when he came out on one of the nights. Right, speaking of the next night, so we'll move on to Saturday. So this was the GCW show, probably the most well attended of all the shows. It was definitely a bit more packed out. A lot of GCW shirts in the crowd. A lot of people have come up just for this one, I think, because it was the Saturday show. It was the GCW show. If you're a internet wrestling goblin like we are, then this is the one you're definitely showing out for. We started out then with, speaking of Starboy Charlie, with the boys. So that is Jimmy Lloyd and Starboy Charlie versus CPF, in this case represented by Danny Black and Joe Lando.
CPF was so good.
Still not got my shirt.
You should have asked them.
They're not in charge of like shipping. They're too busy doing flipping about and stuff.
Look at Joe Lando. Does he know how to fulfill orders? Look at him. Do you really think he knows how to put an order together?
Doesn't even know his ABCs.
It was good seeing Joe Lando. I haven't seen.
Yeah, he's got super jacked. No, like by Joe Lando standards.
Yeah. Jimmy Lloyd was also there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a crime on Danny Black.
He did. Yeah, I mean,
there were some nasty bumps in that match.
So this match was really fun because you had you had three like super flippy guys, and then Jimmy Lloyd just doing crime.
He Lloyd hit so many variations of pile drivers on Danny Black in this match that I was worried that like Danny Black was going to need a Trent Barretta neck.
Well, every time I see someone take a bump on that backstage behind the ring, I remember that RPZ genuinely got knocked out like during his match with Chase Alexander on that ramp. And every time someone does a move on it, I'm like, oh my God, are they okay? Because they stay down forever as well.
Shout out to Jimmy Lloyd hitting a tombstone on the ramp while Starboy Charlie hit a move in the ring, and then even though he wasn't the legal man and was outside the ring doing the Undertaker pin to follow it up.
That popped me a lot.
That was really, really good fun. Jimmy Lloyd and Starboy Charlie won. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next up then, Jordan Oliver versus Malik Doris. Was this a non-title match? I think it was, wasn't it?
It was non-title.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Despite them both being champions, it was for neither belt. Fantastic match. Jordan Oliver. This was his like real, because he didn't get much. I don't think he got much chance other than this match to really show what he was capable of.
No.
And then it felt like it's a Doris match still.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it was like a technical clinic, wasn't it?
mm-hmm.
I looked over Aaron, and he just looked like his nose was bleeding a bit. He had a bit of.
He looked a bit glazed over. I mean, that might have been the 6 pints he'd had by this point in the night, but you know.
Aaron looked like a corpse by the end of the night on Saturday. Like,
I've never seen anyone drink so much beer at a wrestling event than Aaron did over those 3 days. Like every time I saw him, he either had a pint in his hand or was going to the bar to get.
I mean, I tried to keep up with him all in and nearly died.
yeah.
I think it was on the Sunday in the first half hour he'd had 4 pints. That's ludicrous behaviour.
Yeah,
He's an animal.
boisterous behaviour, you could say.
Hey.
But yeah, this is a really good match. And like I said, it showed off what both these guys could do really well because they did a bit of like flippy stuff. They did some dives. They did some bits and bobs. Doris is like an enigma, isn't it? You never know what you're going to get with Doris. He can do the flippy stuff. He can do technical stuff. He can do a bit of power stuff. Like he's got a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
He did a lot of really good storytelling this weekend as well.
Yeah.
Like Project X, he did that bit with Leon. His match with Blake Christian was one of my matches of the weekend because of the storytelling that he did. Like, he made me believe that he was going to beat Blake Christian, which
Blake Christian's a piece of shit.
Blake is a god.
Shot.
Yeah.
Aaron making the best chance that are going to horn wrestlers for like the rest of their life.
So
like,
we had
it was Matt Cardona last year.
Yeah.
That then followed Matt Cardona all over the country while he was here, which is great.
Yeah. But yeah, this match was excellent. Like I said, John Oliver really got to show out this time. Was it after this one he cut a promo, or was it?
He cut a promo challenging Boisterous Babe, to wrestle East West Express, and
That's
then
right.
And also to wrestle Doris as well, because he did the same for Leon.
He's gonna resurrect the ghost of Nick Wayne to wrestle Boisterous Babe.
I begged him to do it in the UK, and he was like, "Oh, we might do it in Progress." I was like, "Don't do it in Progress. Do it in TNT, so I can actually like afford to
Go
go
and watch it.
So I'd have to go to London to watch it. Yeah,
do it on like a Manchester Progress show, and then I'll travel there."
Yeah,
I can see them doing collective weekend though. To be honest,
yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah,
Yes,
That would be
yes,
some
please.
fun.
collective weekend.
Right. Next up, then we had Joey Janela versus Blue Cane. Obviously, Blue Cane's taken the internet by storm since, pun intended, since their first appearance. Obviously, Joey Janela had to get a match with the hottest new gimmick in professional wrestling.
Why didn't Joey have like a fun entrance though?
he did. He came out to Protovision.
No, but like it wasn't like some fucking British disco classic, was it? Like
that was
he came.
So,
Come On Eileen last time,
apparently,
wasn't
he
it?
said the reason he didn't do it this time was because he did it when he was the last over and he didn't want to do the same thing again. So that he thought he'd come out to his normal music.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely banged, so I was okay with it.
Yeah, it's still a banger. This match was just a bit of silly fun, wasn't it? You had Kane doing all the classic Kane spots. Blue Kane has got Kane down so well.
Yeah,
That's a good game.
I particularly enjoyed the indoor snow that we received.
Yeah,
Eventually.
So good.
eventually. And then Joey went and going and putting his jacket on because it was a bit peaky.
Again, just silly, fun stuff. But yeah, Blue Cane. I mean, it's daft, but like it was fun. And again, it's that thing of after you've had like such a technical clinic beforehand, you need like a little palate cleanser. You need something to just be like, yeah, this is fun.
Yeah,
Right.
it didn't overstay its welcome. It didn't stick around too long. You just sort of got in, got its shit in, and got out.
Yeah.
Like the first, like Project X kind of missed something like this.
Mm-hmm.
A bit of a just a fun match to kill like 10 minutes just to make
You're not going to miss anything, but it's just
breath, let's say
reset yourself.
Yeah.
Given what was next.
It turns out that Blue Cane's only weakness is apparently fire and multiple chair shots.
Yeah.
Multiple
Oh my
shots
god.
and a stomp. Yeah.
Not wanting to point out stuff, but when Blue Cane goes over the top rope like Kane does, Blue Cane's packing some blue heat in them tights. Like an Arctic roll in there.
It's like a can of Fosters. Right, next up then, we've got triple threat match, Gringo Loco versus Arez versus Latigo. Oh boy.
Very good.
Did somebody order Lucha? Because here's your fucking Lucha.
Yeah. It was like one of those where you just going, someone turned the gravity off in Liverpool for like 20 minutes.
Again, it's one of them where you watch it on like AEW, or you watch it on Ring of Honor, or you watch it on GCW on TV, and it's sort of it hits, but then you see it like in person, and when you're actually like feeling the ripple of the wind when these guys are doing the top row moves, it hits different.
Yeah, when they're landing 2 foot in front of you, and you're going, that's a long way down.
Yeah. Yeah.
The device destroyer, the Gringo logo hit on Latigo was fucking absurd.
Oh, that went when he jumped off the second rope, sort of, yeah, menace.
Destroyers make me wince at the best of times.
And arrested that like springboard moonsault over the top with 1 foot.
Yeah.
And
Arez is really good, isn't he? Like really good.
Also lovely.
Yeah, I was speaking to him earlier on, like later on in the night, and he was so nice.
So I went to both of them on Friday after the first match, after the first show, and said, "Oh, thank you so much. You know, it was a really good match of both the hands." And they were like so like just polite and sort of weirdly like caught aback by the fact that I really enjoyed their match. And like, no, mate, you're fucking excellent.
When I spoke to them, and they were like, I want to say humble, like they were like. Why do you want to talk to us? I was like, because I've just watched you literally rotate the Earth's gravity with what you were doing. Like, why would I not want to? Like, but I was like, come back and win stuff so I can see more of you.
Yeah. I think it's like that with a lot of luchadors though, because a lot of the time, like getting beyond like just their local scene in Mexico is like a big thing. Like then to obviously get like overseas, like then to get to America and then overseas must be massive for them.
It must be so weird because like obviously GCW are pretty well known in America, but they don't draw massive crowds for their shows. They're still like a sort of local indie, effectively, aren't they? They're just like one that sort of does a bit more work. Like you watch even like the Collective, there's only like 250, 300 people in the room when they're doing these shows. And it must be so weird, like you say, for someone like Arez and Latigo to come from, as you say, from like an obscure promotion in Mexico, then to sort of make a bit of a name for themselves in America, but then to come to the UK where they might never have been before, and there's people there who are like not only aware of who they are because of the internet, but they're also like really into them as well.
Mm-hmm.
That must be such a cool feeling.
Well, I noticed that someone did throw money in the ring afterwards as well, which made me laugh.
Yeah.
It were a 20 as well. I was like, hell, well done, lads.
Big spenders.
Get a kebab with that.
Oh, yeah. No more kebabs.
Yes, that
Did
was
you
really
not go to Botan, Joe?
Oh, we had GDK like 3 days in a row.
Of course you did.
I can feel my arteries like crying.
So yeah, Gringo Loco won this one with a base bomb, which was lovely to see.
Oh yeah, a pop you huge.
Yeah, that was real nice. Gringo Loco. Anytime Gringo Loco like jumps and like spins around from the top rope is just a great time. It's just excellent.
The thing is, like he does like loads of high flying stuff, but then he also does loads of, like murder drivers and stuff.
Yeah,
he's super dragon. fucking awesome.
Next up, then we had the Ultraviolet title on the line again. Rina Yamashita versus Session Moth Martina. This was
so funny.
It was a really weird hybrid of like a comedy match, because like for the first like 10 minutes, like it was just Rina doing a comedy match, and then for the last like 5-6 minutes, it was just Session Moth doing a straight up death match. Yeah.
Well, I think for a lot of the people who kind of are on, like, especially like the kind of GCW crowd who aren't familiar that the fact that Martina's a deathmatch wrestler. Like, even Aaron came up to me and went, "Why the fuck's Martina in this match? Like, what?
Really?
Why are we?"
Yeah,
he was like, "Why are we doing this?" I was like, "Martina, like, is a deathmatch wrestler in TNT. Like, she's won deathmatch tournaments."
Have you not
like,
seen Session Goth?
Yeah, I miss Session Goth. Where is Session Goth?
Only for the darkest timeline.
Do you remember in Total Carnage when she came out as like a fair? She was Session Moth, and then she wrapped herself in bubble wrap in the second match.
Yeah.
And she became Session Goth, like in the last match.
She embraced the violence. It was great, and then she killed Casey. But hey, it's fine.
Yeah. And she had the match with Clint as well.
Yeah. So yeah, her sort of prize for winning a deathmatch tournament was a shot at the TNT Extreme Championship. And
she's had 2 matches with Clint, hasn't she?
Yeah. Yeah, that was hilarious. But this match was really good fun. Like you say, they definitely blended it in really well. It started quite comedic, and then they sort of just gradually filtered in the deathmatch stuff, and it just sort of gradually escalated to the point where, Rina really likes light tubes, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Too much, yeah.
And
but we had all the stuff with the flowers and the miniature heroes. So
and I was really hoping for a light tube like hidden in the flowers and Martina.
I thought there was going to be like because that's why the box was taped up weird. I thought it was going to be full of thumbtacks or something horrible. No, it was just full of chocolate. Fun. Yeah,
there were balloons with thumbtacks in, but they didn't get used.
I've noticed that on the first night there was a rubber chicken that had thumbtacks glued all over it, and I was like, "This needs to be utilized." And it
makes the best weapons. He's so good at it.
So on the first night they had like that.
But it was giving her. Yes, but giving her the booze to make her sleep, and then giving her powers. It was like you said. It's the ramping up lovely into, watching Session Moth have her face cut right around the ring.
Yeah.
It as well that it was like the crowd were fully like in on it by the end. Like the people who, as I say, like there was some people who didn't know, like Martina's kind of got that reputation of being a deathmatch wrestler.
As soon as she gave Martina the beer, the people who knew were like, "Oh shit, no, you've made a mistake."
I think it was a really good match to put on the straight up GCW show, because it let Rina show off a different side to herself, and it introduced a lot of people who might not have otherwise known her as Session Moth, which I think it was kind of a win-win for both women.
Bring her over to GCW weekend.
Can you imagine Martina at Backyard Wrestling?
Jesus wept.
That would be so good.
And then we even had a bit of a bit of a sort of embrace afterwards, and we even had a bit of grinding. So you've got to grind on Rina for the bounce.
Bounce, isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, really, really good fun. Then after the break, we came straight back in with Thrussie, the team of Ali Catch, Effie, and Dog Cheek, versus Team Mayfairs, James Ellis, Mulligan, and Tate.
James Ellis.
I mean, he does shag sheep, apparently. So.
Aaron,
there was a sign.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a fun match though. Obviously, the whole thing was Ali fancies Tate, and she was trying to hit on Tate, and Ellis fancies sheep, trying to shag sheep.
At some point, it's going to be the thing where wrestlers are going to see Aaron with signs and cry.
Someone's just going to hit him. It's just like,
yeah.
I thought Ellis was like legitimately upset by it, but then he kind of played along with it, which I was like, okay.
Well, I kept looking at
when he first came out,
because I was like, poor Nico.
When he first came out and saw it, there was a lot of swearing. Yeah.
I'm like, is he playing? Is he really angry, or is he just like playing along here? Like, what's going on?
Because he kept getting closer and closer. I was like, if he jumps that barrier, I'm not going out. It's Aaron.
He was like climbing onto the barrier and be like, come on then. And Aaron was like trying to front him as well. And it was like, what the fuck? Not like someone tried to front Driller. They're not like that though.
Don't front wrestlers. Just don't do it.
No.
Don't ruin my evening by that, yeah.
We had a really fun match. This is the first. It feels like this is the first chance I've ever had to like get a look at Sheik because she didn't really do much in the Rumble because of how the booking was. So this is the first time Sheik for me got like a really like solid run in TNT, which was really nice to see. Yeah, I really like Thrusty as like a whole like triumvirate. I think they work really well together.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you finished that sentence and didn't just leave it.
Yeah, runs instead.
But yeah, and they won with like a weird, was it like the power bomb
over the rainbow,
and then she hit a stomp or something. She every now and then, like they'll just do something. She could just like fly off the top turnbuckle and hit some mad move, and I'm like, all right, okay, yeah, that'll do.
Was it not the splits like press thing?
Oh, that as well, yeah.
She hits the splits, and then that's like, I think that I honestly can't remember. I've seen so much wrestling.
There was so much wrestling. But yeah, it was a really fun match, and it was and fair play to the heels. They played the part like, really well. They were like proper like Saturday morning cartoon villains, weren't they?
Yeah, if they had mustaches, they would have been twiddling them.
Yeah.
Faye with greatness, you could say that.
It was greatness. I love Taste.
Speaking of mustache twirling villains, then next up we had actual Goblin Tony Deppen.
I caught the hat.
Hat Menace, Tony Deppen versus Masha Slamovich. This is really fun. Deppen has not, because like so. Bit of real world talk here. Tony Deppen recently missed like 3 months of wrestling with a broken arm. He only came back like sort of 3 or 4 weeks ago, and my God, he has not missed a step. He is phenomenal still. Like
I know, yeah,
absolute piece of shit.
Yeah, he's a horrible person, but in the ring, he's a lovely guy in real life. But this is still my favorite. I'll tell it again because I'll tell it every fucking time. When me and Jay were talking to Effie, we'll just drop some names here. When me and Jay were talking to Effie before we interviewed him, just sort of, chatting about GCW and stuff. We mentioned Tony Deppen, and he was like, "Oh yeah, Tony Deppen. Like his whole character is just like it's basically just all of his pent up dad aggression, like all of his like dad anger just comes out when he wrestles because he has to be like so nice around his kids. Like he just channels all his rage into his wrestling persona. Like that's all that is."
It comes off because I think it was the next day where he was like, "I just want to get out of this fucking dog shit country." Fair enough.
Yeah, he's a lovely fella and he's a great wrestler and he's an incredible bellend when he wrestles as well. Like, he really does a good job on that.
But he's really nice in Ring of Honor, and it's weird.
Yeah. This match was really fun. Masha, obviously we talked about Masha, she's phenomenal. She's. So Tony Deppen was it Tony Deppen who was like like making fun of Masha's PWI placement and stuff and like sort of shouting about it during the match and stuff like that.
Yeah, and he called her a bitch.
No, that was Alexis the next day.
Alexis did as well. Yeah, she said that she's number 14 because she beat Masha and Masha's 15. So that's how that works.
That's not how that works.
if one team's top of the league and you beat them, are you not top of the league? Is that how that works?
I think I just went, I think you're a big number 2, and then giggled to myself. But,
No, James Greenwood was like, "Will I beat Crowley? Does that mean I'm 370?" And everyone's like, "Yeah."
That's legit, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Masha got the win, obviously. But yeah, it was great. Good to see Tony back. Good to see Masha just again because I really enjoyed everything Masha did. Was great. I was kind of like not umming and ahhing about buying my tickets, but I was like dallying. I was like, I don't need to get my tickets yet. It's fine. I'll sort them some other time. And then as soon as they announced Masha, I was like, no, bye.
Yeah.
It was like Masha and Gringo on the same weekend they announced, and I was like, right, I've got to buy my tickets right now. It's like I can't miss this.
I have to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next up, then probably what a lot of people might say was the match of the weekend: Blake Christian versus Leon Slater.
It was
I
very
really
good.
enjoyed this.
Shock horror. Leon Slater's really good at wrestling.
Yeah.
I thought that.
So was Blake Christian though. Like Blake Christian was like the workhorse of last year. Like he had 3 really good work rate matches last year, and obviously he's come a long way since then. He's become GCW champion. He's come along. He's been on Ring of Honor a lot. He's professionally progressed a lot in his career.
So much better as well.
Yeah, he almost felt a bit lost. Like he was a good wrestler, but he never really did anything. He just did moves. Now he's got that heel persona down. So he's such a prick heel in like the best possible way.
He hadn't turned heel at that point.
No.
But he hadn't really had a character before that, though.
but he's still doing all the great wrestling. He's still doing everything he was doing last year. He's not changed this. Like sometimes when wrestlers turn heel, they sort of change their style to be like more heelish and they don't do all the fun stuff. But Blake Christian's like, no, I'm still going to just do all the boss moves. I'm just going to be a prick about it. It's like, yeah, that's
it's
actually...
like, I haven't changed. You just changed your opinion of me.
Yeah.
There was a bit of setting up for stuff and then jumping down and flipping people off, but that's just like your standard heel bait and switch in it. But yeah, he might look like the lost, musketeer, but the boy can wrestle.
He looks like Pete.
Yeah.
He looks like our friend Pete.
And
they look like the
when
same
are
person.
wrestlers going to learn when you wrestle Leon Slater, you cannot stand outside by the ring post?
No, ever.
Because he will just jump over the entire ring post and land on you.
Yeah, which always makes me go, "Ugh!"
You just
every
can't
time.
stand still
So
when
last
Leon
year,
Slater's there.
so last year he was in a four-way match with like Joe Lando. I think it might be Blake Christie, Joe Lando, and Tony Deppen actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And he was in the ring by himself, and they were all fighting like right next to it, like literally in front of us. And there's an amazing shot. They clipped it loads and put it on Twitter of Leon Slater going over the ring post, landing on Deppen, and literally Ryan is like stood right in front of them, and he's going fucking nuts. It's so good.
Yeah,
Ryan was like kid at Christmas last year.
Yeah,
like, amazing.
he was at one point this year, and then something bad happened.
Oh, so you're admitting it's bad then, are you?
We'll get to that.
It happened. Good for me. It was great for me.
But yeah, this match was excellent. And one thing, I did moan a bit about the Crowley Jordan Oliver match, but looking at the sort of the symmetry of this, so you've got Jordan Oliver trying really hard to win the TNT title. You've got Leon Slater trying to win the GCW title. I think there's a sort of that these two are on sort of similar paths, aren't they? Where they're going to come across to other companies and sort of. I think we're going to see a lot of Jordan Oliver in TNT in the next couple of years. I think we're going to see a lot of Leon Slater in GCW in the next couple of years.
They do absolutely are like the parallel of each other in the companies.
They kind of alluded to that anyway, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Leon's making town.
They had when they were over, when Jordan was over last time, like earlier this year, they put on first match on the kids show, Ignition. They had Jordan Oliver versus Leon Slater. It wasn't even the main event.
Oh damn!
And Crowley had his music play, so it distracted Leon, and that's like. And then, that's how we lost.
I imagine putting on Leon Slater versus Jordan Oliver for a load of kids is like giving them just like a bag of Skittles each or something.
Matthew just turned round to me and was just like, why is this the main event? Why isn't it the main event? He was fuming. He was like, this is ridiculous.
Speaking of main events, should we get onto this show's main event, which was an absolute motherfucker of a match? I think is the only real way to describe it. So this was a tag team death match. Los Macizos, Ciclope and Miedo Extremo, who I'd never really seen that much of. I know they're like tag team mainstays in GCW, but holy shit, did I come away from this match with a whole level of respect for them. Versus Big fucking Joe and Clint Margera, like the sort of friends turned rivals turned friends, I suppose, is the best way to describe them now.
Mutually assured destruction is what they are.
They're just big lads who like to hit people with glass who decide to do it together. Yeah. But yeah, this was excellent. So we said when we talked about Project X, that was the most glass I'd ever seen in a death match until this match.
Oh, yeah. This might have been the most insane death match I've ever seen.
This is the farthest I've ever seen glass reach.
Yeah,
and I was up on the balcony.
It went to the balcony. It was insane. There were shower doors, glass panes, so many light tubes. But it was in a way it was quite restrained in terms of they didn't have any mad like super weapons or anything. But they also just used so much of everything. There was like that.
There was a spot where it was Clint and I think Ciclope just hitting each other over the head with light tubes in the center of the ring for about 3 minutes.
Yeah.
There
was that like polystyrene block with all the plastic forks in that were like hideous.
The bit where like he had the thing of lemons and salt and then he poured it over himself.
Yeah. Maniac.
Yeah, I think it was Miedo Extremo and Clint had gutter plates in their head for about 3 minutes in the wasn't there a like Nerf gun which had like syringes in it?
Joe using that. Yeah, he shot I think it was Ciclope in the head with it, and he just carried on wrestling with it in his head for like the next 3 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Joe
Siegel
jizzed over everyone with lemon juice.
Yeah, Joe's cock-based lemon offense. Obviously, we used a great effect. Obviously, we have to talk about the big sort of spot of the match, which was it like a doomsday device through a pane of glass that was set up on two chairs. Joe landed horrendously on it. Basically cut
His
like
artery.
a 3-inch gash in his arm, which nicked an artery. It bled so much. I've never seen so much blood come out of something so quickly.
The way his arm was kind of hanging at the side, we thought he'd broken his arm at first.
Yeah. When he was credit, he finished the match. He celebrated for
more than cutting an artery.
A few minutes, and then even as he left, like the medic was trying frantically to wave him to like the side to get treatment, and he just walked off down the tunnel.
Yeah,
and then
there's a video on TNT of the medic cleaning him up, and it's fucking gross.
I mean, if you're in any way squeamish, don't look at his story. I showed my mum his story on Monday. She nearly threw up.
Oh, it was vile.
He did the sick. He came out not that long after the match to like the merch stand as well, with just like literally a bit of like tape wrapped around his arm,
a plaster.
Well, Greenwood had like tape, like he came to the ring with tape.
I mean, they're like gaffer tape, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be like a super glue job. I thought it was like that shit needs super glue and like right away.
No, because like when he lifted his arm out, it like like when you see like fake squirting blood.
Yeah.
From the balcony, that's what it looked like. It looked like it just like, and I was like, because I said to Nat, I was like, he's either got a vein or something like that. And that's why when I saw Mad Dog at the kebab shop, I was like, what's happened with Joe?
So if you're wondering what did happen with Joe, he went to hospital, he got 25 stitches, and he wrestled a deathmatch the next night.
I was telling people in work, they were disturbed.
And had a spot where someone hit him in the wound, and it immediately started bleeding again.
Yep.
It was that menace Jimmy Lloyd.
Yeah. So yeah, that was night 2. That match was crazy.
Also, just want to point out as well, the curb stomp onto the carpet strips gave me horrible feelings.
There's so many carpet spots.
Clint got curb stomped onto a big bundle of light tubes as well, which was horrible.
Light tubes and carpet strips. It was absolutely no. I could put it with most things. But
we
carpet
saw
strips
a women's match.
Are awful.
It was just all carpet strips.
Oh no! No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, well, we'll have to get you down to DOA this year, Joe, so you can witness the whole gamut.
I think was it in the arena match on night 1? There was a hacksaw that was dragged across 4 heads.
Like a legitimate saw. Yeah.
No, don't need that in my life. Thank you.
Bit of murder. What's wrong with that?
Right then, we'll move on. We'll get into the last show of the weekends. I know Joe has to disappear up in a minute, so we'll try and get him to talk about this. So first of all, this was GCW versus TNT. So this was like a sort of big blowout, sort of just anyone who's still standing, throw them into matches together and sort of see what happens, basically sort of deal on it.
Yeah, Faye, did you watch this on Fight?
No, I slept most of Sunday.
Sensible.
So we're going to bring you through it all. There's a match in particular that you have to see.
Jay King told me that his commentary on Bussy versus Act 2 was like his magnum opus.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch it.
I was wondering if so you could fill us in on what he actually said.
No, I'm gonna watch it this week.
I think he made the purple Effie joke that Aaron turned around and said to me.
He said he's purple Aki on commentary.
Because Aaron started shouting. Was it you or someone started saying purple Effie? Yeah, which was. Just before we get there, the Bussy versus Act 2 match, I thought was going to have to get thrown out for too much horny.
It was very
sexy wrestling.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll go back to the start. So we started out then as a little sort of parting gift for the Liverpool crowd. We had a 4-way match: Gringo Loco, Robbie X, Scotty Rourke, and Tony Deppen. Now I told you this match was really good. Would you believe me?
Yeah.
Flip it. Like again, it's this thing of just like, well, we'll start with this and we'll see where we end up by the end of the night. It's
proper like year 1 AEW book, and it's like, let's just put the flippy shit on first, get everyone fired up, and then we'll just take it from there.
Yeah.
It's right. Robbie X doing like the weird. I still don't understand flipping off the rope thing. It still scares me.
Oh, his little handstand, like backspring.
Yeah, I don't get how you do that, but again, I'm a big fat lad.
Not only how you do it, but how you just make it look effortless. Like if I did that, I'd be in like hospital for 3 weeks afterwards.
It's but again, Scotty Rourke as well.
I love that.
I think he was on like the first live show we ever went to, and I was like, this guy's got something about him.
He also taught Robbie X and Dan Maloney how to skateboard earlier that day as well.
In the most
Robbie X was
wholesome
skating in sandals. What? Madman.
Robbie X proving that he is the master of balance by just managing to skate in flip-flops, which is insanity. A really fun match. Gringo Loco picked up the win with another base bomb, and it felt like a real nice like little reward for his like efforts over the weekend, because I think he was I mean everyone did well, but he was an especially consistent performer for me. He was probably my MVP of the whole weekend.
I'd say if it wasn't Gringo, it was probably RS. Yeah, the finish was awesome. Like Robbie went to do a poison rana to the outside off the rope, and Gringo was having none of it and just murdered them with a base bomb.
That looked grotty as hell as well.
It was the nastiest looking base bomb I think I've ever seen.
Yeah. Next up then, Alexis Falcon came out and basically said she had no competition left. She was sick of it. She had an open challenge for the title. Lizzie Evers' music hit. She came out. She basically just nailed Alexis, knocked her to the floor. Crowley tried to get in the ring. She kneed him in the face, sent him flying, and then she just murdered Alexis with a knee and won the title in 4 seconds.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everyone went mental.
Yeah, the place went fucking off. It was the roof came off. It was amazing.
And she belts up and looked up to the balcony where Harley Hudson was sat. Yeah, I'm sure I'm proud of just fine.
It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I can't wait for Lizzie Ever versus Harley Hudson's mum to be the number one feud of 2024.
Oh my god!
I don't think I'm ready.
That's going to be feral, isn't it? Because it was bad enough when it was at Atomic.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's going to be great.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. Next up, then we had a 4-way tag match, tornado tag. This was just fucking insanity. 4-way tornado tag: Lycos Jim versus Jordan Oliver and Starboy Charlie versus Los Macizos versus Los Vipers. Like this was just nuts.
No gravity for anyone.
No tornado, wasn't it?
All tornado, yeah. It was just all 8 guys just doing whatever the fuck they want.
It's just people flying everywhere. It was like the opening scene of Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, it was. It was like a World War II film in a wrestling ring. But yeah,
also, that lad with the whip needs to stop whipping it around over the crowd because I had the fear.
He very nearly hit someone. That whip, yeah. Latigo nearly had someone's eye out. But then again, this also felt like a bit of a sort of curtain, like a sort of curtain call, like a little bow for all these guys who'd like put on really good performances over the weekend. This just felt like let everyone get a chance to say bye to them, which was really nice.
Yeah, so Lycos Jim won in the end. After the match, Jordan Oliver cut that promo, didn't he, where he basically said, "You're going to see a lot more of me in TNT. I'm coming for the TNT title."
Absolutely.
Yes.
Next year, didn't he? Said I'm coming to the TNT title in 2024.
Yeah.
And I think they all just kind of like alluded to the fact that they'll all be back at some point. Which I'm
next up, then we had Joey Janela versus Leon Slater in a sort of a very deliberately paced match that ended up becoming very exciting towards the end. I think it started quite slow. I had the fear that it was going to be a Joey Janela 20-minute technical masterpiece, but they sort of pulled it together and pulled out some mad shit. I mean, it was a really, really good match. They built it very, very well. It sort of climaxed, quite well.
It was a proper wrestling match.
Aaron hated it, if that tells you everything you need to know about it.
I did look over and he had a face like a slapped ass, and I was like, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 60 and a half minutes. It was, go on, Joey.
Yeah, so Joey hit like pretty much all his finishes on Leon, and Leon kicked out the stomp at 1, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then he kicked package pile driver at 2, and then Joey was like having this like existential crisis because like Leon kept out, and then he
got him on his shoulders, and did you hear him say, "I'm sorry about this"? Yeah, and then killed him to death.
Yeah, murdered Leon with a burning hammer. Leon did the fucking Devon Dudley like shaking, having a seizure cell after the match, and was like, there was a really cool little story thing here where like Joey was like crying in the corner after what he'd done.
There was big Moxley versus Orange Cassidy energy here, wasn't there?
Yeah.
I was gonna say it was kind of like an homage to like All Japan when the Burning Hammer got bust out there, and it was like, I'm sorry, I didn't want to have to do that.
Yeah.
That's why Hammer only got done 3 times.
It looked nasty. Like, I know it's supposed to look nasty, but it looked grody as hell. Like, it was.
And then after the match, Leon's like holding his neck, crying, and like.
It's like, if you've hurt Leon.
I went over to after the show. Is your neck all right? He went, and he was like, "Yeah, it's on." I was like, "Good." please don't be injured, Leon. You're the best.
Matt likes to call Leon's boo-boo face black rage, like young black rage, is what she says it is.
Didn't Joey also hit a Death Valley Driver on the apron as well?
Yeah.
Yes.
Which was
that was spicy.
Yeah.
All the crime.
Then a double stomp, then a package pile driver, and then a Burning Hammer. I think Leon have a hope spot where he got like all his shit in.
He got out the package pile driver, got some of his shit in, and then
he went for the 450 senton, and Joey got the knees up.
Yeah, and then that's when
it's like his best one as well.
Yeah, and then that's when Joey murdered.
Again, it was a proper wrestling match in terms of pacing and story and stuff, which is probably why Aaron didn't like it, because there was nobody hitting each other with an open tin of sardines or whatever.
I did turn around to Aaron and say, imagine being upset about going to a wrestling show and seeing wrestling.
Yeah. Right, we'll plow on because we've got I'm conscious of the time here for you, Joe. Next up, we had the 6-man tag team deathmatch, Team TNT, Big Joe, Clint, and Bravo versus Jimmy Lloyd, Masha, and Rena, who are Team GCW. Not a lot to say about this match, except that it was fucking insanity. At one point, they were trying to keep people safe, the staff in the crowd, and the guy turned to me and was like, yeah, we don't know what these guys are doing or where they're going to do it. We're just trying to make sure no one gets too much glass on them.
There was, watching it back, there was people just going through light tubes everywhere at one point.
I'm giving props to Critchy for doing his first ever ring crew at TNT and it being this fucking show. Because Bud and Chrissy were off sick.
So you remember how we talked about how the Rena and Martina deathmatch sort of built to like a really sort of satisfying shit. This was just like straight from the off. It's like if you started a song with the guitar solo. That's what this match was.
They were like, we've got 5 minutes before our mum picks us up. Let's go ham on everything. Like, it was just...
They've already bought all the light tubes. There's no more death matches, so let's just use them all.
There was a bit where Jimmy Lloyd hit like Clint with a light tube and tube went into the crowd, hit the wall and shattered on people.
Yeah.
I think there was one where he hit and it literally span through the air like a shuriken and hit someone, and I was like, oh well, you get what you pay for.
Like, if ever there was a match that would get a fucking lawsuit, it will probably be this.
This was definitely the scattiest death match I've ever been in the crowd for.
It felt literally like they would just fuck it. What's left?
Yeah.
And Cecil took a bump on this show.
Not in this match.
Not in this match. It was later on.
Nobody took a bump on this show. Like, he's not ring crew.
No.
This entire show, to me, from what I'm gathering from it, just sounds like the most chaotic thing.
Chaotic. Ever. Good though, like
not a bad.
But I like
way.
from where I was stood at one point, I couldn't see anything. All I just saw was bits of glass just flying up constantly.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it was real bad.
I genuinely think my chest's as bad as it is from all the spooky dust I inhaled.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I sent my brother a clip of it. He went, there's like poison in those, and I was like, it's spooky dust.
When I first showed my brother a death match, he said exactly the same thing to me. Like he was like, that can kill you, I was like,
it was in a room.
It was in a moderately ventilated room.
No windows. It's not ventilated at all.
As long as it gets below like knee height, you're fine.
Right, so we'll move on then. Next up we had Bussy versus Act 2. So that is Ali Kachinefi versus Benjamin Harlan and Jack Knudsen. Great to see them making the fight debut. It was really fun to see.
Yes.
This was the match that was like probably too horny for television. So you had a lot of storylines going here. Effie just wanted to touch young men, specifically their muscly arms.
Yep.
But at the same time, Jack Knudsen really wanted Ali Kach to make a man out of him. So
yeah, there was some fun spots with that.
Yeah, like Effie was like really wanted Jack Knudsen. Jack Knudsen was like, Ali fancies me. And Benjamin Harlan was like, and Ali were both like, I just want to wrestle.
Yeah.
And Benjamin Harlan he was kind of teasing Effie. He was kind of leading Effie on a bit. He was almost kind of like, peacocking
he was
for Effie
in
a bit.
he was in the Rainbow Rumble, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Earlier on this year.
Kept blowing her little kisses at Effie, and Effie would be like, stop it.
There were like bits at the start where they tag in and like Effie would go to put like Knudsen in a like a headlock, and he'd just like stroke his hair instead of like caress his head.
The bit where like Effie tagged in and he got Knudsen to put him in a headlock. Hilarious.
Yeah, it was a really fun match, and then eventually it did sort of switch into a wrestle match as well. At one point, moves started happening, but then they still had like every now and then they just have like a little spot, wouldn't they, where like something had happened, like someone had wrestling's a very physical sport. Someone touches someone grabs something, it's anything could happen.
Well, there was the spot in the middle where they were both trying to kiss each other, but opposite hands, and it was quite fun.
Yes,
again, I don't mind it when it's like that. It's just when it's the same stuff over and over again. Like
this was kind of fun because
man.
This was just Effie having like some sort of twink overload, which was
a chant at one point, I think.
Yeah.
Chants.
Check their ID was also another fun one.
Yeah.
The finish was Jack went for a superplex on Effie. Effie kissed him, and then Ali like got him in the powerbomb, and Effie hit the over the rainbow.
Yeah.
Pick up the win.
Yeah, really, really good fun. Next up, then we have Blake Christian versus Malik Therese. Longest match of the weekend. Really, really good one as well.
I think of the third night, this could have been the match of the night. I'd say for me it was this or the script, like the Fatal 4-Way at the start.
Yeah.
But this, from a storytelling point of view, this was unreal.
This really did feel like you said before, Jay. This felt like Therese taking it to another level, didn't it?
Like the fact that multiple times Therese gave me the hope that he was winning the GCW title. Dead early on in the match, so Therese was like out for blood because of what Blake did to Leon the night before. And then obviously what Joey Janela had done to Leon. So Therese was like, I'm going to fucking kill all the GCW guys. And quite early on, well, in fact, it was the opening thing, wasn't it? Blake like did the sucker to Therese, and Therese just like murdered him with a shotgun dropkick into the corner.
Yeah.
And then quite early on, Blake did like the arm break on Therese, and then it was just Blake just trying to break Therese's arm for the whole match. And Therese like spots. And yeah, the storytelling on this was fan-fucking-tastic.
Yeah. Really, really fun match. Like I say, went super long, but like both guys really got to show what they can do. Blake Christian really got to show his chops here and his stamina, because he was like, this match just didn't stop. It was really, really, really good. Next up, then we had Dark Sheik versus Helen Charlotte Campbell. In a match that the Times newspaper reported on. Apparently the first ever match in UK wrestling between two
first ever singles
match between two binary trans competitors. Which is awesome.
I didn't dare read the comment section because it's the Times.
No, I just looked at the headline and was like, that's really nice, and moved on.
That's nice, yeah.
Really fun match. Dark Sheik's great. Helen Jolly Campbell is just an absolute monster. I fucking love her. She's so good. She basically
scream that she does is piercing.
Yeah, and she basically for most of the match she just beat the piss out of Sheik. Like,
yep.
Just threw
I love Helen Charlotte Campbell.
Sheik is lovely. I love Sheik, but she is very slight, and Helen Campbell is very strong. So it was a lot of Sheik just getting absolutely tossed everywhere. It was great.
It was your classic wrestling, strong versus fast.
Yeah,
and again, after such a long storytelling match previously, again, you just need that little bit of, all right, I know where this is going, sort of thing. Like, it was great.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
it was
just something
a nice pace from what we just had.
Yeah, from such a long, drawn out, not in a bad way, but like working the arm and stuff to just, this is a wrestling match with wrestling.
Yeah, and yeah, like you say, she eventually got the sort of, she slipped out and picked the spot, got the shot and picked up the win, and then they had a nice little like a moment in the ring afterwards where they sort of hug each other and stuff, which was nice to see. And it was nice to see. Like I say, it was nice to see she like show what she can do, like in a singles capacity as well. It was really nice. The first time I think I've ever really seen Sheik work a singles match, and I really enjoyed it.
She has done a lot on GCW in singles.
Yeah, I was about to say there's some really good singles.
Yeah, I've managed to miss all of them. I've only ever seen like in that whole Charles Mason.
Either in a scramble. She features a lot in scrambles or in tags and yeah.
This is what happens when I stop watching Hood Slam. I know she does a lot of Hood Slam, doesn't she?
Yeah.
You and Hood Slam.
I love Hood Slam. I will hear no hard words against Hood Slam.
Ever say an unkind word about Hood Slam?
Hey, when me and Aaron did the fucking watch along, and we watched the Stoner Brothers match, the Iron Lung match, one of the Stoner Brothers actually commented on the video and was like, "I'm really glad you enjoyed the match. Check out all these ones; they're really good." And I was like, "Oh shit, okay."
Oh my god.
Yeah. Anyway, on to the main event. Well, or is it? Shay Monet versus Charles Crowley for the TNT World Title. Shay Monet came out to a thunderous applause.
This is the first time Shay have been in TNT since Big Gay Brunch.
Yes.
Yeah.
When like Shay turned face and everyone was like, and like also
in actual tears.
Like Shay like yo in that match as well. And Shay also stole the show in this match.
Yeah, if you were under any doubt whether Shay Monet can go, Shay Monet can fucking go.
Yep. This was ludicrous nonsense, and I would say an excellent way to round out the weekend.
I was a little bummed when this not that this got announced, but I was like, oh, is this what we're finishing on? Like not even like a GCW like TNT match. It's just a TNT match. It felt like a bit of an anticlimax, and then the match happened, and I was like, oh no, motherfucker, here we are.
This is it.
Yeah. First of all, Shay Monet wants it no DQ because she didn't want Crowley to squirm out of it when they're getting DQ'd or anything like that. And then Crowley was like, "You fucking idiot! There's two of us and only one of you." Because Visage was with Shay, but they were on crutches. Yeah. Shout out to the highlight spot where they brawled right past us, like to the outside, and then up onto the balcony, and then Crowley charged at Shay, and Shay threw him over the top of the balcony.
Yep, I went and hid at that point because I knew what was coming. I wanted no part of it.
Crowley went over that balcony at some speed.
Yep.
So fair play to him.
Almost missed like the net of people.
Yeah.
Which was and then Shay followed him down.
And Shay jumped off on top of him, which was phenomenal. Then we had a bit of fuckery. Alexa started trying to get involved. Shay took them out. And then Greenwood had enough of Crowley's shit and took him out with a spinning DDT.
Yeah. That DDT was so good.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, it was great. You don't talk about a man's mother, otherwise fuck around and find out.
So Crowley like shoved Greenwood, didn't he? And Greenwood
and then slapped him in the face.
Well, he accused him of slow counting, and he was like 2-2, and he slapped him, and then everyone was like, "Oh!"
Greenwood like him, and then Crowley swung at him, and then he ducked and did that like satellite DDT, which is unreal.
Yeah,
that was so good.
Well, we'll put up with a lot of stuff, but anyone going for Greenwood deserves to die.
And then Shay Monet won.
Yeah, and that pop was massive.
Yeah. It felt like a real moment. Like the confetti went off. Like Shay was like in tears. The crowd were just loving it. Like the crowd were going ballistic.
Big hug with Visage in the middle of the ring.
Yeah, and then that's the show.
Yeah, and then
cut to black. Everyone goes home.
And then
what's that t-shirt you wearing, Jay? Why are you wearing that?
Tate Mayfair's, because Tateness is greatness, did you not know? Visage. So Tate come out to cash in. Like, literally, he threw the Scottish ref through the curtain. It was, at this point, losing my mind, and Ryan was like, no!
So he was thinking about it, wasn't it? And then he was not going to bother. He was, like, sort of considering it. He was, like, sort of weighing up his options.
He did the same
earlier on the Saturday as well. Like he almost cashed in on RPD and JJ Webb.
Well, he made it seem like more of a tease than it was like an actual, I'm going to do anything about it. And then Visage smacked Shay in the back of the head with the crutch. And Tate just went, oh, fuck it, cashed in, murdered Shay very quickly.
Yep.
And won the belt in like less than 4 minutes. Tateness is greatness.
12 seconds, officially.
Yep.
12 seconds. Actually.
12 seconds, literally.
The TNT champion. Tateness is greatness. Everyone needs to bend the knee to Tate.
Didn't get any confetti though, did he? No.
Look up the greatest professional wrestler to ever walk planet Earth.
If you Google it, it will come up with
It will come up with Tate Mayfairs. It's so good.
So my only criticism of this, and it's not a personal criticism, it's a booking criticism, is this is the exact same thing they did with Crowley.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Like the exact same thing. If they had done it like after Shay's first defense, it would have been a bit different. If they'd have done it,
I think they should have just had Tate cash it on Crowley, and then we should have just had Tate and Crowley have a match.
I think to be fair, like Shay on Twitter has kind of done a good job of sort of like explaining the whole situation about a bit more. Like they put a tweet out earlier saying Crowley beat you for the world championship. Tate, I'll wait for the right moment to fight you for the championship again. And Visage, you just fucked up. So
I think the thing is as well, you needed to, if Tate had just beat Crowley, you'd have faced Tate. And that doesn't really work.
Nobody wants that.
Yeah,
Tate. Joe looks so upset.
No, it's not that. It's like you said though, if it's the exact same thing they did last time, then it does feel a bit like we've got one idea and that's all we've got.
January.
So in January, Leon Slater beat Dan Maloney, and then Alexis turned on Leon, and Crowley cashed in and won.
Yeah. I
know it's wrestling, and there's only like 8 stories to go around at any one time.
But you don't have to do the exact same one twice in a row.
That's yeah.
The reason it worked here though was because, and it's no disrespect to Shay was like on the up still.
Mm-hmm.
Like now it's kind of cemented Shay as a main eventer. So everyone's like desperate to see Shay batter Tate.
Yeah.
Now, I will say I think this angle did a lot more for Shay than it did for Leon earlier in the year.
Yeah, agreed. I think with Leon,
I think they missed the trick.
Leon should have been the person to dethrone Crowley, but after Big Gay Brunch, Shay would have been my second choice for sure. And I think those 2 ways they could have gone with it. They went one way. Now we're probably going to get a really fun Shay and Tate feud down the line. I imagine we're probably going to get Tate feuding with Leon. We're probably going to get Tate feuding with Darius, Tate and Jordan Oliver again. So there is a lot of kind of cool, I think more cool options to come from Tate cashing in and winning that than had Crowley just retained or having Shay.
Also, this moves Tate up to the Extreme card now as well.
Yeah,
when he was mostly an Ignition guy.
That's a hell of a jump for Tate, like to go from being like a sort of main-ish event guy on Ignition to like the world champion and on the Extreme.
Yeah, he has a title shot against anyone.
No,
he did have a title shot against Nico.
Oh yeah,
GCW last year.
I think I meant like main like against RPD's belt, like against Shreddy or something.
It doesn't need to. Tate this is greatness.
Right.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Like it just went from like
it was
straight to
also that. Watching Ryan run off.
Ryan
in a little huff.
In a huff. As I was like the only person celebrating, but louder than pretty much everyone else.
I probably would have been right there with you, to be honest, Jay.
He was on the phone to the wrestling ombudsman, which doesn't even exist.
Tate seen me like pretty much pop like a lunatic to a lot of things.
As soon as his music dropped, you were off on one. Yeah.
I was going to say, where did that one rank?
It was up there. It wasn't quite Adam Cole debuting in AEW, but it wasn't far off. Yeah. Right. We'll leave it there for GCW TNT. It was a really fun weekend. Hopefully they do it again next year. They haven't announced anything official yet, but we'll love to see everyone back. Joe, are you going to jump off at this point? Or?
I am. I've got to go and do some other stuff. But thank you very much.
No, thanks for coming on. Obviously, if you do get a chance to listen to the Dammit Vince podcast, comes out every week, most weeks. Shark facts, all your wrestling goodness, and a much more pro CM Punk agenda than we normally put on.
Only by some people. I'm firmly in the anti-camp.
No, Joe, thank you very much for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. It's been a tremendous weekend. And yes. Right. Goodbye.
Cheers, bud.
Bye.
Thank you. Right, we'll pop on. We've run a bit long, and I sort of need to be up fairly early tomorrow. So I want to try something a bit different here. I want to try something a little bit, just sort of condense the AEW coverage because we have 3 shows to talk about. I want each of you to pick 3 things you liked from AEW this week, and we'll talk about them.
Okay.
I'll start with you, Faye.
When you go first, Jay. Oh no, come on. It's okay.
Okay, Jay, off you go.
From all 3 shows?
Yeah, 3 things. Any 3 things you want.
Well, I'll say from Dynamite, Joe vs. Roderick Strong. That was really fun.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll talk about that very briefly then. It was. They really swerved us, didn't they?
Yeah, we were so confident.
Yeah, but also I think, as I said, like last week, it can, or the week before, either way. As I said, the last time we spoke about this, it could have gone one of 2 ways, and I feel like this is more.
As I said last week, it literally could. Either Joe could have won or Roddy could have won.
You know what I mean? Like this has become a little bit more compelling because it's now with them doing like the stretcher job with Roddy. Like when he does eventually turn on Adam and potentially cost
That just reminded me of the ending. At the end, and obviously Roddy's on the stretcher, and like Adam's there trying to help him, and Roddy's just got his eyes closed, and he's like, "Adam, I can't see you. Where are you?"
Yeah.
It's the fact, like in a huff, like leaving the ring, and then as soon as Adam's there, he just like goes down holding his neck.
Collapses, doesn't he? Like,
it's fucking brilliant. I love Roderick Strong.
It was excellent. It was that was really really good fun. It was a really good match as well. Like it was a real old school Ring of Honor style match, and they both really brought intensity, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah, it was like just Joe trying to do a murder, wasn't it? Really?
Yes. Which is pretty much every Joe match, really, to be fair. So, I mean, we all said last week, didn't we? How are they going to fix it so that Roddy beats Joe? Because on paper, Joe should murder him, and Joe did.
Yeah. Sometimes the most simple stuff.
That's how they're going to do it. They're just going to have Joe win, which is Now, how are they going to have MJF beat Joe? Because fuck me.
Well, MJF to tap Joe out.
Yeah, which should be interesting.
Doing a little bit of Steiner math.
that was amazing. That was incredible.
Faye, what's your first bit you want to talk about then?
John Moxley versus Big Bill.
Yeah, in the old
this match was so good.
The OVW roommate brawl.
Oh, it was amazing.
LA Knight was just crying.
Yeah,
Big Bill's like gotten so good.
Yeah,
this like genuinely, and it's not that I wasn't sold on Big Bill previously because he's obviously like had a hell of a run since like Collision started, sort of like when he started doing the Rumbles, and he started really like thingy. But I think Collisions give him like that bit of freedom to really find himself.
I think that point might have been when he started tagging with Brian Cage in that tournament.
That was for me the start of like, oh shit, I need to pay attention to this guy. Yeah, this is a real thing.
Mox felt in real danger. No way, like you've been looking at the other matches and you're like, oh yeah, it's just gonna be Mox mate. Then no, this felt like real danger for Mox.
Which is so interesting because Mox made his whole they mentioned it on commentary. Like Mox had at the start of his title reign, his first title reign, he wrestled exclusively big guys, Lance Archer, Brody Lee, you know,
Brian Cage.
And even then in his second title reign, Brody King, first defense.
Yeah.
But then this felt like a step beyond all of that. Even Big Bill was really presented. I mean, it's credit to himself. He carries himself well. He moves well. He performs well. But he's presented well as well, and I think that makes a massive difference.
Also, I would like to see Mox and Lance Archer for the international title, please.
Oh yeah, bring that back. Yeah. Still one of the only people to beat John Moxley in AEW, Lance Archer. Awesome. What do you think I'm going to pick first? Have a guess.
Is it Daniel Garcia dancing away from Don Callis? Because obviously that's it, right?
I mean, I was tempted.
I was going to say promo on Collision.
It is Eddie Kingston's promo on Collision. I mean, just saying now, another fantastic Eddie Kingston promo is damning with faint praise, isn't it? It's like it feels like I'm sort of, you know, even if you judge Eddie Kingston on a curve, this was still a fantastic promo. Like, I'm running out of words to describe it. Just Eddie Kingston. So his whole point of this promo was like, again, he used that phrase, didn't he? Like he said, Claudio, you know, you were too much of a coward to do business. you have to run away to the make believe land. You wouldn't do business. I'm going to make you do business. And then he says like, you're a good athlete. You're a better athlete than me. You're a better performer than me. You're a better wrestler than me. He said, but I'm from New York. We're born in the misery. We're born in the cold. You don't know. You haven't got the misery. You've never experienced misery. You can't. Eddie's basically like, look, my life's shit, and I'm going to harness all of the hatred and bitterness and like adversity, and I'm going to use it to batter you.
Hey, Tasty.
At one point, he literally said, "I'm going to fuck you up at Grand Slam."
You know what's going to give him more misery
when he loses.
Surprise death by elbow.
Like say when Eddie Kingston walks into Arthur Ashe and sees that the producer of the match is Chris Hero, and he's like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!"
When Eddie Kingston sees Chris Hero like trying to talk Claudio down, and then just the back of his head. It
was exceptional. I don't even care. Well, I really want Eddie to win. It's in front of his mum. He said this is in front of his mum. His mum's going to be there.
I think they've been saving like Eddie getting the big one over Claudio this show.
Claudio said, hasn't he? Like Eddie and Claudio said, this is it. Eddie said, like, win or lose, this is it. This is the final show. This is the final chapter.
We're gonna because he's like, because the thing is, what I loved, he was like, Renee told me to fix it. I'm trying to fix it. So like, he's still got that love for Mox, and
he's like, I'm ignoring John's calls. I'm not answering the phone.
Yeah, that was such a good. Also, little shout out. Not this. This isn't my next pick. I just want to also say as well the BCC promo from Dynamite. Eddie and Claudio had to stare down in the background.
And laughs at him like a madman.
While everyone else was screaming at each other, and then they all walked away, and Eddie's just there staring a hole through Claudio. It was fucking.
Was that the
awesome.
one where Brian was like, "You want to escalate this? We love escalation."
And Mox was struggling to get a hoodie on.
Yeah. Right then, Jay, what's your second pick?
I'm gonna keep it with the BCC, and it's Ricky Starks and Big Bill versus Danielson and Claudio.
Another call for Big Bill. Yeah, this match was really good though.
This was great. Again, it's like Bryan Danielson's making it his mission to like fix all the fuck ups that they've had with Ricky Starks this year.
Yeah,
and I'm for it because we all know how good Ricky is. We do.
This does feel like Bryan Danielson almost like making it his mission to like get this whole program back on track, doesn't it, by himself?
Yeah.
The thing is, like, they had Ricky like take MJF the limit, and then he had that feud with Jericho, and he won the feud with Jericho. It was like, all right, fucking hell, Ricky's Ricky's on the way to something big here.
He's escaped the gravitational pull of the Jerichoverse.
Yeah,
then at the cost of Action Andretti.
That's fine. And then Action had to die for this to live.
That's fine.
Yeah. And he got into that feud with like Jay White, and it was like, oh fucking hell, Ricky and Jay White's gonna cook. And we never got Ricky and Jay White because fucking Punk came back and ruined it for everyone. So it's felt like for a while that Ricky's just been spinning his wheels. I feel like this is
at Punk's expense.
Not even at Punk's expense. I think it's more just that they've always had someone else that in mind that they want to kind of elevate as opposed to Ricky, even though Ricky's been there ready for ages. I think
it feels like forever.
Like the Owen, like perfect opportunity to turn Punk heel. Perfect opportunity to make Ricky like the top babyface on Collision.
I think that was a really wrong move.
I think now that Ricky's like a tweener, it's working really well because he can still be like a little shit, but it's almost to the point where, like with Eddie, where he was being a bastard, but everyone was still cheering him. Ricky's kind of getting in that rarefied air where, like, no matter what he does, people are going to cheer him anyway.
Yeah.
So let him just knob it. And yeah, he didn't like the finish. He didn't need to kick Danielson in the dick. He had Danielson dead to rights there. He just did it. Thought, fuck it, I can. And then he hit Danielson with the jumbo.
He pinned Bryan Danielson, which was huge.
Well,
and then what's going for?
McGuinness said that though, didn't he? He was like, he's just given him a low blow, but now it doesn't even matter because he gave him the Rochambeau, and like basically McGuinness was saying like, it doesn't matter he gave him the low blow because he'd have won anyway.
I love how like Danielson, like, he's got Zack Sabre Jr. in like 2 weeks. 3 weeks, and like he should be like Zack Sabre Jr. said, put him in a Zorb ball so he doesn't get hurt. And Danielson's like, nah, mate, I'm gonna have a death match next week with Ricky.
Texas Deathmatch, he Starks and Danielson. A fucking match of the year written all over it.
I hope Danielson asks where it is.
It is actually Texas, isn't it?
I know, but last time me and Brian Cage said, "Where's the Philly street fight?" He was like,
Yeah.
"It's in Philly, you big dumb bitch."
Yeah. Right. Faye, your second one?
I am going to go with this match could have been longer for my thing, but the what are they called? Savage Sauce Men.
The Iron Savages.
Yeah,
Jack Jameson, Dirty Bo Bronson, and the Sauce Horse.
So fucking
Beefcake Boulder.
good. I really enjoyed this match.
I loved at the start of the match, Jack Jameson getting in Dax's face and being like, "Oh, and hey, you're like sipping tequila. You need to live clean if you want to look like this," and like pointing at his like abs, and then Dax just giving him the shot machine like straight off the bat.
So good.
It was really good fun. I love the Iron Savages like unequivocally. I loved
when McGuinness was like they're gonna they basically said like they're gonna cover their ass in like savage sauce, and he was like, "Don't ask what that is." And Kevin Kelly was like, "Don't ask."
Yeah. So interestingly, FTR got the win, not with the shot machine, but with Power and the Glory.
Mm-hmm.
Tasty, how excited are you for Workhorseman versus FTR next week?
Yes.
I know how much you love them.
I love me some Workhorsemen. I think they're going to be an excellent stylistic match for FTR. I can't wait to see them wrestle each other. This match was great. It was very much a Iron Savage just threw FTR around a bit, and then they sort of get the upper hand and win. They gave Bronson the Shot Machine and then Boulder the Power and the Glory for the win. Shout out to Cash for doing the motorboat as well when he won.
Yeah.
It felt like a bit of a weird choice, didn't it, at first? But then obviously with like the Aussie Open thing later on, it made a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Did announce Aussie Open as FTR at Wrestle Dream, which that card's just looking fucking silly, isn't it?
I know.
Yeah.
Have they just hard for me?
So for my second pick, I'm going to cheat a little bit, and I'm just going to say main event Statlander.
This match was unbelievable.
Both of them.
I was going to say I preferred the Jade one. I thought the Jade one was incredible.
I thought they were both good though. The Brit one was excellent as well.
The Brit one was my favorite.
That spot where like they both knocked each other down and then both did the kip up and then just stopped and stared at each other was awesome.
Mm. Obviously, the Jade one had a bit of added weight to it because it was Jade's last match with the company. There was a big sort of passing the torch moment afterwards where Jade sort of like gave her a big hug.
It was so lovely. For me, for the Brit one, I thought Britt had it a couple of times. Like,
well, Statlander's the first person to get out of the lockjaw, isn't she?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah. Okay, then Jay, your final pick. What are you going for?
Do you skip over Faye?
No, Faye did one. Faye had.
you can. I'm still trying to think.
Didn't you? No, didn't you pick? You picked Iron Savages.
Oh yeah, Iron Savages. Yeah.
Yeah, just back to you. I had Statlander, and that's back to you.
I feel like I'm struggling here.
It doesn't have to be a match. It could be any part of the show. It can be a segment. It can be anything.
No, I'm struggling. You know what? I'm gonna just say the whole Hangman and Brian Cage match because it was really fun. They have really good chemistry.
Yeah, they do absolutely fuck together, don't they? Hangman fucks.
Absolute scumbags, the Young Bucks, for kicking Prince Nana though while he was trying to just dance. And also, again, Swerve just like promo wise this week because he didn't wrestle anyone. He challenged Hangman to the match at Wrestle Dream, and he then like cut that really good promo about like them kicking Nana and wanting versus Mogul Embassy, and just again like they're doing a really good job. I think it was All Out, wasn't it, when I mentioned about like building people up. I feel like since like Punk's departure and them needing to kind of them needing to fill the gap of star power. There's a lot of guys like Swerve, like Ricky Starks, that are doing an awesome job of making feel like a huge deal. Like
taking some of that Punk time and splitting it to like other guys who really do deserve it.
Oh, like Swerve feels the most dangerous he's felt in AEW right now for me. I think I'm going to say it right now. I think he should beat Hangman at Wrestle Dream.
Oh yeah.
I think that's literally Swerve's catapult to the main event.
I'd be up for that. Absolutely. Faye, your final pick?
Tony Storm's The Range Hollywood interview with RJ City.
Can we just have Tony Storm and RJ City all the time, please?
Yeah.
Can RJ be like him manager?
Yes. I love the way when she was like, I don't like the lamp, and RJ was like, we need to get rid of the lamp now.
And like the light as well. And it was like in the middle of the day. So she's like, can you turn down the sun? Basically, that's what she's asking.
I was going to say, I love that, like, they've got such good chemistry together. And it felt like it was made for both of them, that segment.
I think this character of Tony works amazingly with RJ City as well.
Yeah.
Because he's quite like an soul anyway, isn't
he? Yeah.
Well, he's sort of like, he's sort of like condescendingly polite, isn't he? That's like his whole sort of thing.
He reminds me a lot of Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah.
That's the kind of energy I think RJ has. But then he talks about like the Golden Girls and like old like Hollywood starlets and stuff like that. So the fact that like he makes these references and then he's got like Tony Storm doing like all this with him, it just works.
Yeah.
Also, quick shout out to AEW this week. RJ City and Prince Nana need their own show together.
Yeah, they do.
Right. I'm kind of torn between. I want to give a little shout out to Bullet Club's promo against Andrade, especially the way that Jay White went through everyone's nicknames and then just said, and Austin Gunn.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And Austin was like, do I not get a name? Which was great. But no, my actual pick is Don Callis and Takeshita reveal their next victim.
Sad Faye noises.
I thought it was an actually excellent promo segment. I thought Don Callis can be a bit hit or miss, but I thought he absolutely nailed it. Like the tone and everything of this promo was phenomenal. When he was talking about, like he was saying about, and then like he finished by saying, "Oh yeah, by the way, Kenny, this one's going to kill you," and then just stabbed the Bushi's portrait with a screwdriver.
Yeah, this was really good.
I think for me, if you don't know what Kota Ibushi is to Kenny Omega, you know now.
They had that really good Golden Lovers promo that Riccaboni narrated on Collision as well. Again, just to solidify like the importance. They didn't announce when this match is happening, did they?
Said it was Wrestle Dream, didn't he?
When they imagine it's Wrestle Dream, is it Wrestle Dream?
Imagine Wrestle Dream because that's like the Inoki show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is going to be really good, and I think as well. Again, talking about solidifying like guys as like the next like sort of wave of top stars. I mean, Takeshita's just beat Kenny Omega twice in a week.
Yeah,
probably going to be Kota Ibushi.
Oh,
you think God.
So? I don't see a reason why Ibushi should beat Takeshita.
Not unless he's sticking around. Even then, I still wouldn't have Takeshita.
And like, I think Takeshita needs to beat him because then. I feel like Kenny's going to come back and win the feud, but it softens the blow of Kenny coming back and winning the feud when Takeshita's literally put Kenny through hell to get to that.
Yeah, because it's like, what's he going to turn Kenny into as a result of this? And
isn't he?
Well, this is the thing. Like, this is what happens to Kenny, isn't it? Like, he goes through all this like emotional, physical hurt and has to like go to like that darker part of himself.
Just do Kenny and Takeshita in like an unsanctioned match or something.
Yes, please.
That'd be fun.
Right.
Imagine if he comes out like to confront Takeshita and he's wearing sunglasses and everyone's like, "Oh shit!"
That's all he's got to do is just put the sunglasses on, and obviously everyone knows, don't they? You know, it's one of them. It's great.
Yeah. We also got the Righteous cleanly beating the Hardys, which was Wild.
Yes, they look great. They look great
so
as well.
good.
They look great in that.
Yeah. Oh, and Dark Order.
Yeah.
John Silver versus
Bowens.
It was so good.
Evil Uno's promo on Rampage as well. It's fucking fire.
Yeah.
Forgot all about that.
Right then, I think that's going to wrap us up for this week. That's probably all we got time for. My internet's slowly dying, so I need to get out of this before it completely capitulates. But yeah, we'll be back next week with less GCW TNT stuff and more of your regular scheduled programming.
Only got grants.
Wrestler of the week is Eddie Kingston.
Well, hang on. Who's Wrestler of the week?
Say that. Eddie Kingston.
You going for Eddie Kingston?
Yeah.
Jay?
Gringo Loco.
I was going to pick Gringo Loco, so I'll take I'll take Chris Statlander then. That's fine.
Yeah.
Excellent. There you go. Have a little vote on that when you see it on your.
And then fourth, Juice Robinson.
Fourth is always is Juice Robinson. Yeah. All he did was say, "I'll hold the microphone," and then started screaming into it when Jay White got into it with Andrade.
It was so good.
So that was enough. So yeah, fine. Right, we're out of here. We'll see you next week. Take care, everyone. Enjoy your wrestling, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Hello, yes, Danhausen here. Danhausen has been summoned. You must love this podcast, Hausen, the Untitled Wrestling Podcast, Hausen.